Before Dolly Parton became one of the most beloved entertainers in the world, she started off as just a little girl in a big family with very little money. Before Jolene, before 9 to 5, before I Will Always Love You, before Dollywood, before Country Music Hall of Fame, before the Grammy Awards, before becoming one of the most successful singers in songwriting history, before giving away millions of books to children through the Imagination Library, Dolly Parton was a little girl growing up in a tiny one-room cabin in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. And here's what makes this story so remarkable. She wasn't born into wealth. She wasn't born into opportunity. She was born into a large family with very little money. Her parents worked incredibly hard just to provide the basics. Some stories even tell of the family paying the doctor who delivered Dolly with goods from the farm because they had so little cash. Most people would have looked at those circumstances and believed their future was already decided. Not Dolly. She loved music. She believed she had a gift. She started singing in church as a little girl. She performed on the local radio. She wrote songs. She practiced. She dreamed. And she never stopped believing that God had given her those gifts for a reason. Then came one of the biggest decisions of her life. The day after graduating high school, Dolly moved to Nashville to pursue country music. Imagine that, leaving everything familiar behind, chasing a dream that might never happen. But she kept writing, she kept singing, she kept improving, and eventually the music industry began to notice. One song became another. Then came hit records, televisions, movies, businesses, books, theme parks, and one of the greatest careers in entertainment history. But here's what people often miss. The breakthrough wasn't her first hit song. The breakthrough was her believing that her circumstances didn't determine her future. So what's the lesson? Where you begin doesn't have to determine where you finish. Maybe you didn't grow up with money. Maybe you didn't have the opportunity others had. Maybe your path has been harder than you expected. Don't let your starting point become your stopping point. Keep learning, keep creating, keep believing, because your greatest chapter may still be ahead of you. Now here's another part of Dolly Parton's story that inspires me even more. Success never changed who she was. As her career grew, she didn't stop writing. She didn't stop serving. She didn't stop giving. She continued writing songs that became timeless classics. I Will Always Love You, Jolene, Coat of Many Colors, songs that touched millions of people around the world. Then she expanded into acting. 9 to 5, Steel Magnolias. She became a successful businesswoman with Dollywood, helping bring jobs and tourism to her home region. But perhaps one of her greatest accomplishments had nothing to do with music or movies. She created the Imagination Library, a program that has provided hundreds of millions of free books to children around the world because she believes every child deserves the opportunity to read. Think about that. A little girl who grew up with very little became someone who spent decades helping children dream bigger. That's real success. Success isn't only measured by how much you earn. It's measured by what you give. Dolly Parton's story reminds us that success and kindness can grow together. The higher you climb, the more opportunities you have to lift somebody else up. Never forget where you came from, and never stop helping others discover where they can go. Dolly Parton grew up in a tiny one-room cabin with very little money. Most people would have assumed their future was already written, but they were wrong. Your past doesn't get the final vote. Your circumstances don't get the final vote. Your willingness to keep learning, you're growing, keep learning. That's what shapes your future. Don't let where you started convince you where you're going to finish. Some of the greatest success stories began with the smallest beginnings. Your story is still being written. Give us a like, subscribe to Accomplished Coach, and win. And remember, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.